I thought I could do it immediately, like start getting profitable immediately. I never knew it's going to take me a journey. After failing several times, I told myself, no, I'm not going back into this. But somehow I came back.
What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Trader. Today, we are joined by Solomon, who is tuning in all the way from Nigeria. Solomon, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I appreciate it. We're looking forward to hearing a lot more about your journey, getting some insights into your trading strategy and seeing how your journey was to get you to where you are today. I always like to kick these off in a very, very casual way. I think what would make most sense, do you want to take maybe 1 to 2 minutes and introduce yourself to the audience and give them a little bit of background as to how you got into trading?
All right. Well, my name is Solomon Andrew, and I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Akwa Ibom State of Nigeria. All right. So I started trading 5 years ago. Actually, I got into trading through someone who told me to sign up for like a trading course. And then when I did, I thought I could do it immediately, like start getting profitable immediately. I never knew it's going to take me a journey to really know that before making money. So I thought this was something I can jump into and just make money immediately. After failing several times, I told myself, no, I'm not going back into this. But somehow I came back, and then I started discovering why I made errors and why I made mistakes. I started getting to know that it's more, there are lots involved in trading. There are lots involved in trading aside making profits. So this gave me a balanced mindset. So roughly 5 years I've been trading. Yeah.
Wow, sounds
Yeah.
like quite the journey. But of course, those early challenges and obstacles, I think, are the teaching ground, right? They're the experiences you
Exactly.
need to go to get to where you are today. Very,
Exactly.
very interesting. It sounds like we're going to be able to learn a lot from your journey and your experiences.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your educational background. Did you go through or follow any path which would have helped you as a trader at all?
Um, the first time I signed up to learn trading, um, I the person who taught me how to trade just gave me materials on through my mail to go. So I discovered they were all YouTube materials. And when I went through it, I just watched them. I didn't have to pay much attention to it. I just go around through them and then went straight to my chat. So that's the only thing I paid for. But throughout my journey, I've sat down to go through YouTube, get important informations. There was no, I didn't have to go and pay another money. I just went through YouTube to see how it works from introduction of into forex and every to currency pairs and everything that has to do with forex. I wanted to know everything about it. So I literally used YouTube as my education. I didn't have to pay money to anybody to formally learn any mentor. Those I saw online as mentors, I just admired them. Just admired them. I didn't have to one-on-one lecture with anybody.
Mm. Did
Yeah,
you find that YouTube was actually a better resource than the course that you initially took?
sure, sure. Because I had this vast information, so I
Mm.
could see through this person's angle, see through this person's angle, see through the other mentor's angle. If I was to rely on just what I was given, I'm not sure I would be successful. So I had to go through every strategy, every information to know what I really want out of it.
Right, right.
Yes.
And where has that led you today? Are you someone that is trading full time? Is trading just a part-time thing for you? How do you look at it at the moment?
Okay. Currently I'm not trading full time. I'm a pastor.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
So when I have time for my pastoral duties and then get back on chat. So
Mm,
I felt trading was one of the things that will give me all the time while I'm doing what I need to do. I'm making the money. All
okay.
right. So I'm currently doing it as a part-time job.
And how does that work for you in terms of the time management? Do you ever find that your role as a pastor gets in the way of trading, or do you find that you're able to manage both quite well?
Initially, it wasn't easy because trading was beginning to take a lot from me because I get to be committed to know why am I losing, what's happening with my trading. So, but I had to understand this is a long-term journey, and therefore I need to take it step by step approach. It's not something I want to make all the money in a day. So I'm this kind of a person that I learn with time. So I learn a lot with time. So I get to study with time what's happening, and so it has. With that, since I took it as I had this mindset like I need to take it step by step. It has really helped me.
Yeah,
I didn't have to rush through it.
I think that's something that a lot of people lack in this day and age. And you said at the kind of beginning, your introduction into trading was that you had this mindset or perception that we would find success quickly. And actually, I think
Yes,
it's very
exactly.
common. And I don't know if that's
Yes,
amplified because of things like social media or things like that, but a lot of
very
people
well, very
have this
well.
mindset, right?
Very well. Very well. Social media is not really helping at all. There are a lot of persons who just you see them flip $10 to $100,000 and you're like, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that social media part is not really helping at all. Yeah.
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 I say this to people all the time. It's not that doing these crazy account flips isn't possible. It's usually
Yes.
for the most case, it's not possible to do consistently, right? And it usually requires
Exactly.
some form of luck to be on your side. Whereas
Exactly.
people that don't have the experience in this field, they will look at that and they will think that's consistently repeatable. They think I could
Yes.
turn 10 into 100, 100 to 100,000, and then, they'll make their million.
Exactly.
At some
Exactly.
point, it's what leads most people to blow up, right?
Yes. Yes. Very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay, so you mentioned now you've been trading for 5 years, which means you started around 2019. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. And talk to me a little bit about your journey with prop firms. How long have you been using prop firms?
Honestly, I started using prop firm last year.
Okay. And how was that experience for you? What got you into prop firms?
Okay, what brought me into prop firms?
Yes.
Yeah, seeing the large sum of money given to trade, I felt it would be better trading that than just trading on $100 and $20 and all that. So I felt, why not get some money, purchase a prop firm, manage the risks, and then get paid in a good sum. And these days, pro firms give you unlimited time. You have all the time to do what you need to do. So I got into it last year, and FundedNext was the very first pro firm I used.
Wow. So you got
Mm,
quite
so
lucky to join us then.
so I first purchased a $5,000 account. I couldn't make it through. $6,000 account, I couldn't, and then I had to pause a bit. So
Mm,
the next one I went for was the correct one, which is $200,000 account.
wow, big step up.
Yes. Yes.
Did you find that the larger accounts were better for you psychologically? Do you feel that made any difference?
Somehow I felt so, and then I felt it was going to be faster.
Okay.
Yeah, because 10% of $200,000 is more if
Yeah.
you have it. So I just felt it's going to be the best.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And you
Yeah.
mentioned FundedNext was the first prop firm that you ended up using. What made you choose them? Was there any specific features or things that you particularly liked that made them stand out?
Okay, first I had to do my research on the list of pro firms, and I kept seeing for the next as either number one or number two. So I went through Google, I went through YouTube to hear other opinions about funded next. And I'll be following the trader, meet the trader sessions, I'll be seeing and the payout and all that. So I had to put my my weight behind it.
Fair, fair. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. So I'm very keen to actually start diving into understanding a little bit more about your strategy. So if you have the ability to, would you mind sharing some charts with us and just talking us through what you're looking for in terms of how you approach the markets, and just talking us through your strategy?
Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Perfect.
Okay. I hope you can see it.
Yep, all good. The floor is yours. Take us through everything.
All right. Basically, I don't like to complicate things because I've had a lot of complications and it's not working. It's not working. I just feel it's important to just make it simple so it can help you any day, anytime. When you see what you're looking for, you just dive into it. So I trade a strategy called inside bar strategy. It's more about candlestick patterns. For example, I'm on US 30, and this inside bar strategy consists of a mother candle and an inside candle. So basically, I want to see the market's trend in a particular direction, either bearish or bullish. And then what I do is go to a higher time frame, from the 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and upwards, and get a trending market. And when I can find a candlestick like this, you can see this candlestick this way. All right. And you can see about 1, 2, 3, 4. This is currently happening right now, US 30. 1, 2, 3 candles in this mother candle, this bearish candle. So that's giving me like a signal of the direction of the price. And I consider the top of the candle as support and resistance level. That's the way I see it. So if I go down to the smaller time frames or the lower time frames, this is the pattern it's forming for me. So this gives me a clear understanding of what's happening. I don't have to guess a lot about it. All right. So I want to see, so you can see this. So what I want to see is that price. Let me go back to the 4 hours. What I want to see is the price breaks through this point. I want to see price break through this point. All right, letting me know that it has broken through this point and then it's continuing the trend. And what I do is, when I see a break and a retest, I enter and then put my stop loss somewhere above. That's just it.
Okay.
So not too much complications, because I have had several strategies and then it's confusing. So yeah. I just want to follow what the candlesticks are doing or the market is doing, and then go in the direction of the market.
I mean, ironically, the more of these interviews that I've done, the common theme seems to be, when we start diving into everybody's strategy, is that they like to keep things simple. And I think that's not a coincidence, right? There's clearly something to take from that, in that overcomplicating your strategy often doesn't give you better results. It usually probably makes things worse for a lot of people. So yeah, very, very simple breakdown. And it seems like, just to summarize from what I've taken from it, and again, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, you're looking to identify a trend. You're looking for a big sort of impulsive move, and then the correction, the inside bars. Yes. And then you're basically looking at a breakout of those inside bars to continue on the trend. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. And so you mentioned, obviously, and you've showed this on US 30, right? Dow Jones. Is this the only market you trade, or do you apply this to any other markets at all?
Okay, actually, I enjoy trading gold.
Okay.
I enjoy trading gold because it gives me that fast move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but wherever I find whatever pair I find the strategy, if I try to see how I can jump into it, but I trade more of gold.
Okay. So I'm guessing, and obviously this is my interpretation of how things are. Your strategy relies a lot of it needs a lot of momentum in order for it to make money, right? And so trading more volatile pairs, I guess, makes more sense. You don't want to trade something that's just in a range bound all the time, because to make money, right?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Do you tend to trade particular sessions, or do you are you open to trading at any point in time as long as there's a breakout in the intended direction?
I like to go for the New York session, because I noticed that prior market is always active for gold during that time.
Okay.
And so more activities is being carried out in the New York session. So I go for the New York session.
Okay, gotcha. And do you find that there's one particular time frame in terms of your execution that works particularly well, or you could do this from a variety of different time frames?
Okay. The higher time frame I use more is 4 hours and daily
Okay.
and 1 hour. So the
Okay.
lower time frames from 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 5 minutes. So
Um,
for the 1 hour is the higher time frame for the 5 minutes.
okay.
The 4 hours, the higher time frame for 50 minutes, and daily for 4 hours. That's what I
Okay.
use.
But there's no one specific time frame that you stick on consistently for execution. Does that vary?
Um, I think more of the 4 hours and the 15 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Yeah.
And talk to me about how you actually exit these positions. Is there a particular signal that you're looking for in order to get out of your trade?
Um, okay. Once I am able, okay, let me go back to my charts. Once I am able to see that market drops down to this level,
Mm-hmm.
I will have to I will have to look for um probably a supply or a demand close by where I can exit my position, where I
Right.
know price can literally move away from that area.
Okay.
Because when there's a breakout, price may tend to go back. So I tend to look for a nearer spot where I can exit my position and look
Mm.
either left or right to see where I can leave.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And with this sort of approach, how often do you find that you end up getting setups? Is it something that you get every day, maybe multiple times a week? Like, how often are you trading?
Okay. Basically when price or market is trending. If
Okay.
you can look at this chart, this is 4 hours, and you can see that you can see this happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me draw a box here. So what happened here was this. The price literally came down here, went up, and stopped at this level again, this same level. So if you notice very well, you can see that these smaller candles are of this inside of this bearish candle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this for me at this zone is really is really a trigger for me.
Okay.
So once price is able to break through this bearish candle, I immediately enter my position with lower time frame break and resist. Sorry, break and retest. And you
Mm.
can see how the market pushed up and pushed up.
Mm.
So more importantly, I always try to see where where price is trying to break from levels like this.
Okay.
All right, and then pushes up. So I try to find the inside back candle and see how I can execute a trade.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And is there do you ever leave any positions to like or part of your position to run in case the market kind of just goes? I'm saying this purely based on the idea that if you're trading a lot of momentum or volatility, sometimes you'll have these reversal points where you mentioned, supply and demand, you'll get those quick reversals. Sometimes if you get lucky enough to be on the right side of a move, it will just go and maybe not come back for some time. So is that something you do at all?
Yeah. Okay. When I look at this trade, I see that price could possibly take out these levels
Right.
here and come to this level. So I try to hold my trade to see how price takes out this level.
Mm.
All right. And then somehow I break even when I know I want to hold longer.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
So
kind
in
of
this case,
leave the market some breathing room to show you what you think it's
yes,
going to do next, right?
yes, exactly.
Okay. Nice, nice. I like this. Again, very simple, very clear cut, very easy to identify on the charts, which is probably what gives it some effectiveness in the long term. One thing I've noticed is that your charts are fairly clean. There's not many, indicators or overlays or anything like that. Is that anything that you use at all?
No, no, no. I don't use any indicator.
Okay.
I don't use any indicator at all.
Okay. And what would you say, looking at your strategy, what would you say is the most important part that you need in order to validate a trade?
Okay, first, is the trend. You have to know the direction. And if price is going in a direction, it will definitely imprint these candlesticks. So this inside bar candlestick, most of the time, it will do so. All right. So basically, the trend. You just have to know where price is going
Mm. And
from the
is there
higher time
something
frame.
that you do specifically on the higher time frame to give you that indication as to where it might go?
Um. Okay. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay. So I can observe that this is going, giving us up and down, higher lows, higher high like that. So when I can picture from how it breaks the structure, what I do is try to draw a kind of a trend to see, all right, to see exactly how it's moving. All right, that's just it. I don't need to, when it breaks structure, okay, you can see, for example, this structure has been broken, all right, to the downside. So this gives me an idea that we are going bullish, and especially if there is a momentum candle. So with that momentum candle, I try to find those trace of inside bars and see if it imprints those inside bars, I'll see how to use that to follow the trend.
Okay, nice,
Yeah, yeah,
nice. And talk to me about how you developed this strategy. You obviously mentioned that you did a course initially. You then spent more time probably on YouTube, going through a lot of resources on there. Was this
yes.
something that you found on, a specific channel, or are there certain things that you learned and then started to adapt it for yourself?
Okay. Personally, I believe that when it comes to trading, when it comes to trading, I believe every strategy works according to the individual. I've seen ICT strategies, I've seen Boligar strategies and all that, but I've seen moving average strategies. But each time I try to apply these things, it doesn't flow with me. All right, it doesn't flow. I have a friend who trades basically with the moving averages, and he tells me a lot of things about it. But when I try it, it doesn't work for me. They are very good, but doesn't work for me. So what I had to do was go to the internet, check the strategies, and then pick which one is best for me. So I had to go on YouTube, check which one flows with me, which do I flow with. If it works for me and I can wake up any day and see it on the chart and know what's doing and execute. I do not have to start thinking, how do I go about this and all that? As long as it flows with me and it gives me the money, I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point that, again, I think for maybe a lot of people watching, it's something that a lot of new traders don't consider, right? I
Yeah,
have a very similar outlook, which is it's the trader that makes the strategy work and not the other way around. I think most
exactly.
people are looking for some type of holy grail or, some perfect
Yes,
strategy which
yes,
works and they think that will fix their problems. But actually, like you correctly said, it's in your ability to apply it. You have to be able to identify it. You need to execute, you need to manage, and you need to exit. If you
yes,
can't do all of those things, it doesn't matter how good the strategy is on paper, it's not going to work
exactly,
for you as a person.
exactly, exactly.
Very, very interesting. I again really like this. I always tend, I'm a big fan of the simplistic approaches to the market because I think that they're often the most effective.
Oh,
Last couple of things I want to ask you specifically on the strategy element itself. Did
okay.
you do a lot of back testing when first sort of learning this approach to understand how it's going to work?
Yes, I did. I did a lot of back testing, a lot of them. And then I was able to know when this can work and when this cannot work.
Okay.
So I
And
did a
did you do a lot of
test.
the back testing just simply on TradingView, or did you use any other platforms at all? Or
Um, more, I trade more with my phone. So
okay,
most of them on my phones, on my MetaTrader, and then on TradingView.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
whilst you went through that back testing, was it something that you used to journal and keep track of at all, or did you just kind of watch it play out over time to give you enough confidence in it?
Yes, I had to watch it over time. I
Okay.
have to watch it over time to see because sometimes when you do some back testing, I believe it's the real when you're live on the market, you exactly know what's happening.
Mm,
So I had to watch them play out to
mm.
gain confidence.
And how long did you feel like it took, or how many examples do you think that it took in order to really give you that confidence?
Probably 100.
Mm. And again, I asked the question because a lot of the traders that I speak to, one of the things that I think they really lack in their strategy
Yeah.
is confidence. And I think a lot of
Yes.
that is because they haven't done enough testing or back testing or just collecting
Exactly.
of data to understand that it's going to work.
High works. Yes.
The moment you lack that confidence, it takes one loss or one period of drawdown where you have, a few losing trades, and a lot of people lose faith in their strategy. Do you feel like that's
Yes.
something that you've ever encountered before?
Yeah. I had used apart from this period, I've used a couple of strategies, and I discovered that after back testing, I'm not really comfortable with it. Yeah, it's not giving me that confidence to go into the trade. So I had to just look for what I know I can confidently put my money in it.
Gotcha.
And whatever happens, I just manage the risk.
Yeah, fair. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think we've seen pretty much everything that we need to from your charts. Feel free to stop the screen sharing.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So something I would love to dive into, and actually something that you just touched on there, is this idea of, yes, it's important to find something comfortable for you that you have confidence and you trust in. But
Yes.
another really, really important element is risk management, right? I
Very
think
well.
again, it's something that a lot of traders tend to struggle with. A lot of people stray from their own risk management guidelines. Maybe they're risking too much for them
Very well.
to personally be able to handle and cope with. Talk to me about your approach to risk management. Do you have a strict set of rules and protocol that you follow in terms of risk per trade or how much you deploy over the space of a week?
Okay. Coming to the funded account, I want to speak basically on that, how I managed the risk. What I did was to initially I started with like risking 1% of it. Um, when I knew I had profit on it, and I was sure about a particular trade to a certain level, I re-risk my profits. So
Gotcha.
when I'm back to, let's say I lose the trade or I lost the trade, and I'm back to the normal funded account or funded account, what I do is start risking a little of it. I don't want to. What I want to use in risking in anything I need to risk is my profits in it. As I make more profit, I re-risk the profits to see that I get more. All right. So, but when it's getting back to the exact account level, I go a little by little so that I don't lose the account.
So what I'm understanding from that is basically you want to get yourself into a position where you could essentially play with the house's money, right? It's not your money that
Exactly.
you're risking, you're playing with the
Exactly.
profit. It's very, yeah, very smart, very smart. I like that.
Yeah.
So risking 1%, and is that the same throughout the challenge stage into the funded stage as well?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And do you manage things any differently? And again, I'm not sure if you're in this position where are you trading a personal account as well as prop firms or only prop firms at the moment?
Yes, I do have personal accounts.
And do you
So
manage the risk there any differently than you would on a prop firm?
yes, I make sure that I use at least depending on the account size.
Okay.
If it's too small, maybe $100, I see how I can use probably 1% because I don't want to risk the entire money.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
because I have this understanding that risk management is the real trading, honestly.
Mm, mm.
It's the real trading because if you don't manage your risks, there'll be no money to trade
Yeah,
with.
very true. Very true.
So, and then this is different from a flipping account where I need to flip $10. I just know that this $10 I am putting into the market. Whatever happens to it, no challenge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to me managing that a particular account, I have to do everything possible to see that that account is sustained.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense. And in terms of how you enter the market, with regards to managing risk, do you enter with market orders, or do you leave orders in the market, like pending orders, sell stops, buy stops, anything like that?
Honestly, I rarely use pending orders. I don't use higher order. I don't use that. I just wait for it and then execute.
Okay.
If I don't meet it, no challenge. I'll just move on.
So when you're calculating your risk, it's something that you're obviously doing in the moment because you're judging your stop loss size based on how the market is looking at that time, right?
Yeah, come again. I didn't get that.
So I was saying if you're entering constantly at market, your stop loss size, I'm guessing based on your strategy, is going to vary depending on where it needs to go in the market. So therefore, you're calculating your risk as you go.
Yes, exactly. I have to calculate as I go.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
based on your performance and your back testing, what sort of win percentage does this strategy produce over time?
Wow. If executed accordingly, it's within 70 to 80%.
Wow, very high.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
high.
If it's executed accordingly,
Okay.
according to how it's been done, it's a
Yeah.
very high profitability strategy.
Do you find that you're able to replicate something that high, or do you find that, being human, being imperfect, there are, we seem to operate below that? How close can
Yeah,
you get to
sure.
that statistic?
Sure. I sometimes go out of the strategy because and I think being disciplined, being disciplined is what a trader needs.
Hmm.
Really
I want
discipline.
to I want to talk a lot more about that very, very shortly, because I think you're
Yes.
completely right. I think there's a lot to that which should be unpacked and has to be taken away for a lot of people.
Yes.
Few more things I want to ask you on the risk management front. From
Okay.
a perspective of, we've talked obviously about win rate, and I think what goes hand in hand very quite well with win rate is your risk to reward. Is that
Yes.
something that you keep a close eye on? Does that help you to qualify or invalidate any trades if they don't meet a certain risk to reward?
Okay. Are you saying my risk story, what level?
Yeah.
Okay. I basically maintain 1 to 2.
Okay. So if
Yes.
you had a potential setup where you were getting the breakout in the intended direction that you're looking for, and there was a
Yes.
potential level above or below market that would give you less than 1 to 2, would that mean that you wouldn't take the trade?
That would give me less than 1 to 2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would step into that trade.
Okay.
No,
So
because I want to make sure that at least I can break even from 1 to 1,
okay.
and then get my target.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
Mm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, perfect. I think I want to transition a little bit back towards what you mentioned earlier, on the
Cool.
side of, the discipline and the psychology that I think a lot of people battle with. Do you find that your psychology has ever gotten the best of you, and do you find that it's still something that you're working on today?
Yeah, I'm honestly working on my psychology because I don't know if there is a perfect trader.
I would agree with you. I think I would agree with you.
Yeah. So we wake up every day to put work on it because there are a lot of things happening in our lives apart from trading. All
Mm,
right. So sometimes they can intrude into our trading. So you need to keep working on it every day.
mm,
You need to keep working on it every day. So that's what I try to do and make sure that I don't allow what's happening outside step into what I'm doing. And if it's not a good time to trade, I just keep it away. Because and then I try not to over trade. And when I don't see what I am looking for, I just relax.
mm.
And then I don't stay too long so that I don't start seeing what looks like my strategy and it's not. And then I step into the trade.
Yeah.
So I try my possible best to see that I just go for what I want. And if it's not there, I stay back a bit until it comes.
Mm. Do you find actually having trading as a more of a side hustle or a part-time gig that's more helpful to you? Because, and I ask this from the perspective of when I speak to a lot of traders, actually the ones that are full-time, it's much easier to get bored and then trying to create some opportunities to find something exciting to do with your day. when you actually have things going on, if you have a job, a business, something else that you're doing outside, it's actually easier to keep yourself occupied, I find, in a lot of cases, and actually it
Yeah.
helps with your discipline. Is that something you'd agree with?
Yes, sure, sure. I believe when one can have other things doing, it will help you being engaged, and then your mind can probably be going through analyzing how you can help yourself become a better trader.
Mm,
So being away for some time from the charts also develops you. I believe that. I
yeah.
really believe. Mm.
Yeah, very true.
Because
I,
yeah,
I always like to think of it as, becoming a successful trader, it requires work on the charts as well as off the charts. And I think a
exactly.
lot of people neglect the side that requires the work off the charts, right? If you only spend your time on the charts, you're more likely to just overcomplicate and confuse yourself rather than find the answers that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to backtrack a little bit and actually talk about the start of your journey, right? Because we've heard a lot about the strategy that you have now, how you
Yes.
refined it, your approach to risk management, and things like this. I actually
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about maybe the challenges that you experienced early on, because you mentioned you obviously came in with this, false perception of overnight success, or you hoped it was going to be a little bit easier than it was. How did you find your journey at the beginning, and what sort of challenges did you initially face that you were able to overcome?
Okay. Basically, what I went through in my journey was trying to find discipline in my trading. I do not know why I kept moving from one strategy to the other strategy. And probably because there were people who were saying, "Oh, this works better, or that works better." I have come. The strategy I'm using currently, I have gone into it several times and came out until one day I told myself, this is the strategy I'm going to use. I'm not going to go into any holy grail. I'm not going to look at any side. This is what I'm going to stay with. It's okay by me. I love it. So when I was able to stick my head into one strategy, I found out that it got better. There were times it failed me,
Yeah.
and I just knew, okay, there's going to be another opportunity that worked best.
Yeah.
So I really had to overcome. One of the things I had to overcome was indiscipline,
Mm,
really indiscipline in terms of moving from one strategy to the other. It wasn't really because every day, today I'm profitable, tomorrow I'm not profitable. And I couldn't find out what exactly was going on. So I just had to overcome moving from one strategy to the other.
mm. How
Yes.
long do you feel like you struggled with that before you were able to stick with one thing?
Honestly, honestly, I think for 2 years.
Wow. Long
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
The thing is, I say this because I resonate a lot with that pain. My first few years into trading, I spent 6 years doing the same thing that you described, jumping from one strategy to another, to another, to another.
Wow.
And again, I think when I say this, you'll probably resonate and understand this a lot because I think we've been through the same pain, which
Yeah.
is, I think a lot of people in the early part of their journey, they are trying to find certainty. They're trying to find something
Yes.
that works all of the time. And actually, the
Exactly.
hardest part, which actually has a big impact in your ability to be disciplined, is
Yes.
accepting that the markets are uncertain. And that doesn't
Yes.
mean that nothing works. It means everything works, just not all the time, right? Is that something you'd
Yes.
agree with?
Exactly. Exactly. Very true.
How,
Very
so in your experience, you mentioned obviously you went through that period of, sort of lacking discipline and struggling to stick with one thing for 2 years, which is a long time for a lot of people. I think
yes.
for some people, it would have been very easy to quit, very easy to just throw in the towel. What kept you motivated to want to continue on this path?
All right. Um, when I was jumping into one strategy to the other strategy, in some strategies I'll make profit, and then some others I will make profit, and some when I make profits, and then it doesn't. The next time when I come back to it, it doesn't give me the profit. I move away from it. So when I discover that sometimes I make good money, I just felt there has to be something that makes this thing work since it brings this kind of money. And so you could see that forex, there's a lot of money in it.
Mm.
But what's going to make you consistent or consistently bring that money is another scope. So I really had to tell myself I believe that there is something that can make this thing work consistently. And then when I found it, which was sticking to your strategy and your risk management, when I found that, I just believe that's it.
Mm.
So that kept me, because I saw how it was possible to turn $100 into $500 in just a few days. So I felt, no, this is definitely, if I can apply consistency, definitely going to work.
And so a lot of your vision or a lot of what kept you motivated was the money aspect, right? Knowing what is possible, and
Yes,
that
the
kept
forex
you
market. Yes,
driven to try and continue reach it, right?
yes, yes.
What are your long-term visions for trading, right? If your goal, if the main goal for you is about making, I guess, an abundance of money, is there a specific target in terms of funding that you would like to get, or amount of money that you would like to make from the markets? Is there a big goal that you're working towards?
Okay. Long-term goal for me, it's to keep being consistent in this, and then have consistent payouts, and then being able to live the life I want to live, and of course have financial independence at its highest level. So for me, that's a long-term goal, being able to have financial independence consistently, you know.
And do you feel like you're on the right path to being able to achieve that?
Yes, very well.
Yeah.
Very, very.
How far away would you say that big long-term vision is for you?
Um, in 2 years from now.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I really like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um, just on the idea of future visions and things that are keeping you motivated. Is there anybody specifically in the trading space? This could be retail or professional. Is there anybody that really inspires you?
Okay, there are a couple of them, but I'm going to mention one person that I look up to, because I believe he tells you what this industry is all about and how you can achieve success. And that's the person of Dapper Willis.
Nice.
Yes. So I've watched him, how he started and where he is today. And I think he's one of the persons that lets you know this is a long-term business, not
Mm,
something you have to rush or hurry about.
yeah.
So he shows you his journey and how far he has come.
Mm,
So I love his let's call it his openness
mm.
to the trading industry. So I think he's one person that inspires me a lot.
I think that's a really good trait for someone to bring inspiration, and it's that level of transparency. It's a level of realness to show you that it is about the long term game. It's not always wins. It's not always losses. There is it's a balance of both of these things, and that's part and parcel of really being a trader,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
For anybody watching this, I think you've clearly been through quite your own journey. It's taken some time to get to even just the position that you're in now. I know that
Yeah.
you obviously have bigger goals that you're working towards in the future.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would share to someone watching this that is still struggling, maybe still trying to find their path to consistency? Is there anything that you've been through in your experience that you think would really help them?
All right. I'm going to say this to as many traders struggling. No matter how much you lose, don't give up. No matter how much you lose, don't give up. I see the forex market like, not like a losing well, or should I call it something that, oh, I've lost my money. I see it like I'm saving my money there. And then when I want to get it, I'll get it all and get more. That's the way I see it. So no matter how much you lose, just don't stop.
Mm,
Get the right strategy that works for you. Stay consistent with it. And one day your big day will come. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Motivating is very, very powerful words.
Thank
It
you.
really reminds me, there's a quote that I read a long time ago, and it simply said, it's hard to beat someone that never gives up. Right. And I
Wow.
think it really embodies the idea that you were talking about there. That's awesome.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to wind things down on. One final question for you, and this is primarily for the team at FundedNext. Is there any suggestions or recommendations of things that you would like to see more of or less of from the company?
But FundedNext, in my opinion, is the best.
That's awesome.
Honestly, FundedNext is the best from the customer service or the support and down to the payouts. I mean, they are just the best. And I don't think I don't know. I've not been into any other pro firms, but with everything I've seen from since last year, I think FundedNext is the best. So I don't have any suggestion of any improvement. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you're changing lives.
That's awesome, man. I think the team are going to love to hear that from you.
Yeah,
Solomon, thank you so much for your
thank
time
you.
today.
Oh,
Honestly, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. You've given us some great insights into not just your journey, but your strategy, and also been very real about the highs and lows of what it takes to find some level of success. So I
thank
think
you.
for everybody tuning in, they would have gained something valuable for you. So I'm very, very grateful to spend some time with you today.
Thank you. I'm excited about this interview. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, I hope you were taking notes. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I will see you inside the next one. Take care.